Ambassador Andre Correa do Lago, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us here at the Net Zero Delivery Summit 2025, the fourth such gathering the City of London Corporation has convened. As Iram said, I'm Chris Hayward. I'm the policy chairman and the political leader of the City of London Corporation. And we come together, I suggest to you all, at a historic crossroads. For the decisions we make now will reverberate down the generations, shaping the ecological and economic inheritance of our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. And, of course, the viability of human society as we know it. President Kennedy observed once that the supreme reality of our time is the common vulnerability of this planet. And the decades since this statement have only, in my view, compounded its truth. Our age has been characterized by profound shifts in everything from technology to economics and geopolitics. But the climate crisis, with its capacity to reap unprecedented disruption, must count among our most pressing and indeed urgent challenges. And so today, I re-emphasize our commitment to action, doubling down on sustainable finance as the only way to accelerate the net zero transition and as a crucial means of spurring our national growth. More than an environmental imperative, attaining net zero is also a strategic economic opportunity. For the economies of climate mitigation and adaptation have not changed. While climate action will generate economic value, inaction will destroy it. Since 2000, climate change has caused more than $3.6 trillion in damage. And the World Economic Forum estimates that without action soon, global GDP could drop cumulatively by up to 22% before the end of this century. From shipping to insurance, from energy to agriculture, forestry to fishing and pharmaceuticals, no industry will go unaffected by the climate crisis. And changes in governmental policy around the world won't change that fact. As the global economy comes to recognize the risks and realities of this crisis, sustainable finance has emerged as the standout opportunity. And as the sands of global power shift, it's an area in which British leadership endures, internationally recognized and respected. Significantly, it's an opportunity that plays to many of the United Kingdom's established strengths. A global challenge then, but one which the UK can help address through the provision of sustainable finance. And in so doing, drive our national growth and further reinforce the competitiveness of our financial and professional services sector that I speak for. Our message, therefore, must be that the costs of ignoring the climate crisis are unthinkable, but that the opportunity of financing the delivery of net zero goals is transformative. In a case set out in the City Corporation's landmark Vision for Economic Growth, and most recently in our report From Commitment to Action, which tracks UK financial services commitments on net zero. The data, ladies and gentlemen, is clear. In the number of financial services firms with validated science-based climate targets, the UK is world-beating. But to maintain our sustainable finance leadership, we must continue to champion innovation and work to build a market with integrity. Now, sustainable finance is, I know, a broad term, but we see four key interrelated areas as especially primed for growth and innovation, each of them critical to the broader goal of the net zero transition. These are, firstly, transition finance to enable industry's shift to net zero. Secondly, carbon markets to direct finance into activities and assets which remove or prevent carbon from entering the atmosphere. Thirdly, nature finance to promote ecological capital as the guarantor of so much which enables human society to thrive. And of course, finally, climate finance to ensure that emerging and developing economies, so often the worst affected by climate change, have the resources to both mitigate and adapt. And in each of these elements of sustainable finance, the United Kingdom is a key leader, but progress must be accelerated. In the transition journey, we have to bring everyone along, including and especially those in hard-to-abate sectors. Transition finance has proved indispensable in this effort, and it's a market poised for significant growth. Indeed, McKinsey estimates that the transition to net zero could be worth more than £1 trillion to UK companies by 2030. The groundwork for the UK to reinforce its leadership in this space has already been laid. The Transition Finance Market Review, whose secretariat the City Corporation was pleased to host and co-lead, has produced recommendations which we are already implementing. Prominent among these, I commend to you the work being undertaken by the Transition Finance Council, which we were delighted to launch and host alongside His Majesty's government. Let me also, if I may, just take this moment, to pay tribute to Lord Alok Sharma, joining us here today in his role as chairman of that Transition Finance Council. Thank you, Alok, for all you are doing to support us. And gratitude is also due to our very own Iram Yerdelan, my lead member for Sustainable Finance and Deputy Chair of the Council, who is facilitating today's event. She works so incredibly hard and with such passion and diligence on these issues. I'm indeed very lucky to have her in the role. So we're proud, ladies and gentlemen, to be the partner of choice in the City Corporation for government as it works to support the UK's preeminence as a transition capital centre. And to the private sector, I say this: we'll be your partner too. If you want to raise and deploy finance for the net zero transition, then we want you to come to London. But while the transition can be accelerated, it cannot be instantaneous. As companies still emit, carbon markets have a vital role to play in offsetting and compensating. The efficacy of financial trading systems in other areas of our economy is clear. Clear, too, is the enormous potential of carbon trading. It's a market that has faced challenges in the past, but much needed clarity has arrived, both internationally through COP29's Article 6, which operationalizes the framework for an international market, and domestically through the government's publication of its 6 principles for voluntary carbon and nature market integrity. Now, we must convert this clarity, ladies and gentlemen, into action. It's time to scale this market and build on the extraordinary innovations being championed in the United Kingdom, from launches of exciting new carbon removal funds to pioneering insurance offerings and a growing nature-based solutions and engineered removals market. And with its unrivaled financial infrastructure, deep and well-connected capital markets, culture of innovation and record of leadership in sustainability, the City of London has a vital role to play in other key areas of sustainable finance, in both climate and nature finance, which I look forward to discussing with international counterparts at COP30 in Brazil, the City of London Corporation will do all in our power to mobilize the private sector. We cannot allow the world's store of natural capital to be continually depleted, nor can we afford to neglect our partners in emerging markets as they work to protect their economies from climate chaos. As with so much else, it's action here that will secure and safeguard progress. And we too have acted here at the City of London Corporation, adopted in 2020 our ambitious climate action strategy, led by my colleague and lead member, Alderman Alison Gowman, another champion of climate action, will see us achieve the net zero emissions from our own operations by 2027, as a step on the journey to net zero across our full value chain and investments by 2040. Ultimately, this work will support our commitment to a net zero square mile by 2040. The City of London is both a global city and an engine of national growth. And the dimensions of the net zero transition mirror this, a global challenge offering national opportunity. In exporting our expertise and mobilizing capital for a sustainable future, the United Kingdom can drive its national prosperity and its competitiveness. The time is now. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been hearing that call to action for decades. Inaction is no alternative, and the targets we have set as a global community are slipping away. So I call on all participants in this summit to deliver the action necessary to save our planet. I know that it will produce economic prosperity. Thank you.